We're back with part 2 of this week's Melbourne Pro Punters Panel, boys. Some interesting meetings coming up. I've got a sort of a little bit of calm before the storm, but off to the once-a-year meeting at Dunkeld this week, DK.
It's a pretty big Dunkeld.
I've been thrown under the bus though because I'm going to go to the meeting on a Friday night before I go. So
Dunkeld Saturday?
Dunkeld Saturday.
Where's Dunkeld?
Dunkeld is on the southern side of the Grampians, just before Hamilton, I believe.
3.5 hours.
Yep, so I'll be getting up at about 4 o'clock to set off from there.
We've been there once, about 4 or 5 years ago. I went with Kenny Marshman, bookie. I was doing some stuff with Kenny. I went to Witchy Proof with him, and anyway, I said, come to Dunkeld, and I took my missus on the staff and whatnot, and it pissed down. It absolutely pissed down. So parked in a paddock, it's in the note. So I get out there, every car in the joint's bogged. Every car get out. So the local footy club had the tractors going. You had to sling them something for their barbecue beer money and whatnot. Give them 20 and try and get the tractor pull your car out onto the main road. Then dry soak, absolutely drenched, 3.5 hours home. So quickly jumped in the shower, got home, went to Mario Nordo's restaurant, had the seafood platter about 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night, just to some respite,
So the book must have been alright then?
I could hardly write a bet. We weren't in the main ring, we were out in the bleachers, out with the, supposed to be a good spot in the members or something, with marquees and everything, but there was no, which absolutely like drowned rats we were.
Yeah, no.
You'll go there if it's a nice day on which I think it's going to be 24 or something. Yeah. So that'd be sensational, it'll just be grouse,
So those ones...
It's big, it's a big meeting.
Yeah, there'll be 8,000 or 10,000 people there, I'm led to believe, it's a big meeting for
a lot of people like winning races, a lot of horses get targeted for it. I mean, it's a mad leaders track, but all the good, all those good Warrnambool stables go, and like Town Peter Moody used to take horses there, and anyway.
Speaking of mad leaders tracks, boys, one of the other courses I ticked off my bucket list, I went to Ararat Cup Day and China Bowl Day there on Sunday. Potsy managed to tip a couple of winners there, which was very handy. But then, as usual, the curse struck, and one of the horses that I've been following that's on a certain list, DK, Septimore was in there, and I thought it was going to lead, so I thought, I'll have a small amount of my profits on there. I was going to have a couple of hundred on it, and that turned into 400, so I grabbed the iPad and had 1,000 to 400 hit with the tab, and as I've said that, another friend of the show, Mickey Harrick's gone, yeah, you've got that, mate. He's had 1,000 to 400 for me as well, so instead of having 200 on it, I've ended up with 800 on it. So that's handy. I said, don't worry about it.
They never win.
I said, don't worry about it, Mickey. It'll lead. We'll chuck up an offer there at 320 or something to lay it in the run, and if it leads, we know it'll get matched, and I'll be able to chop my position up. For the first time ever, it fell out of the gates and settled fourth.
Yeah. Box seated.
Yeah,
box seated. Don't go for that.
Didn't quite get out, and then that was the end of the penny section.
It was.
So a tough day there at what should have been a good day there at Ararat turned into a small profitable day. But as I've told you, Potts, I've told this story before. I don't know whether I've told you, DK. I'm a long way in front on mistakes though.
Oh, yeah.
My mistake story is, it must have been about 3 or 4 years ago, there was a guy on Twitter who was posting, and he was one of the best judges I'd seen, and he was a judge on Tasmanian harness racing of all things. But I followed him when I was in England, and when I came back I followed him for a long while and made quite a bit of money out of him, and he tipped 2 horses on it must have been a Monday night at Kilmore, and my little girl was only little at that stage, so the missus was working, so he goes, right, there's a bet in the first and about a bet in race 4, so I thought I'll just have 100 on the one in the first. It wins 6 to 4, beautiful, we've got something to play with in the next one, and so I've backed the next one, and I've got to go and give the little one a dinner, give her a bath, get her ready for bed. Thought if I could do all that and get back in time to sit down and watch this. Come back, and I was betting with Unibet at the time, and they actually leave the bet slip up on your screen of what the bet was. Well, fat fingers, instead of having 100 on it, I've had 1,000 on this horse at middle toe. So I thought, Jesus, I don't need this much. I thought, at least they'll throw it back into the toe pools, it'll come up real short on the toe, and I might be able to lay it back on Betfair and get half my stake back. So I ring a former colleague of ours, DK, in Chili's, and who was on the harness and greyhound's desk when I was there, and said, mate, what do you think of this race? He goes, the favourites here are in danger, so maybe have something to savour on it. So I'm sitting there waiting with Dynamic open, waiting to see what price this thing that I've backed is, and $7.50, $8, $9. I said, well, there goes any hope of laying it back at the short odds on Betfair. I thought, oh, well, I better have 500 on this favourite. So I've had 500 on the favourite. So a race that I was only going to probably outlay about $200 on, I've now outlaid 1,500 on. And
when you get the staggers when that happens.
well, the thing that I've had 1,000 on won the race and paid $12.90 middle toe. And after that, no matter what mistakes I make, ever since then, I've gone, it doesn't matter, you know what, mistakes are going to happen, I'm still in front. So,
See,
that was a little mistake.
I'll get the fat fingers one. The problem is with me is the ones when you're trying to bet quickly, on the horses are the same price.
Yes.
You know, they're 21.9 and 10 at 21, and you quickly try and have 100 on it and send them through quick, and a couple of times I'm on the wrong, I'm on the wrong horse, and now it's out to 50s on Betfair, and anyway, I'll just have to burn 100 and try and back my horse and burn another 100 in the race and do too much. But anyway, when Gift of Music ran at Kilmore, he was getting out on the fair. He always gets out on the fair late for some reason. So I'm standing in front of the grandstand trying to have 300 each one on the fair or something like that. And he's getting out to 15, 16, 17. And also the drifter in the market was the one above it, Henry Dwyer's thing first up. So fat fingers on the mobile. I'm trying to have 70, 50 and $70 increments trying to get him on the win. And I've had it on Hut or whatever. The thing was number 3 instead of number 4. And I'm like, oh, damn, anyway, beauty. So anyway, I got the money on, jumped, boom, boom. Oh, he gives out the back, he hasn't fired that A. What's his thing going?
Happy days.
Yeah, instead of doing 800 or 600, I end up winning 150 or something like that. So that's all right, happy days. There was something, that was my only good mistake story.
And working on course, DK, you would have seen it plenty of times when, especially in this carnival time, the once a year punters will come up and go, give us 100 on the 6, and right, 100 on the 6, there you go, and they'll come back and they'll go, no, mate, I wanted to back the 4. I said, mate, you called out 100 on the 6. He goes, yeah, it's $6. See the number.
It's mistakes, mate. Bookies' mistakes. Even when they can't, bookies' mistakes was a big one, you know.
Yeah.
Make big mistakes.
So there's plenty of mistake stories. Have you got any good stories, boss?
First of all, before we do that, I just want to thank a shout out to you mentioned Ararat there, Juppy. Young Jessica Eaton.
Yeah.
Who's a young rider that's learning, and she's getting better. Got a bit of improvement to do riding them out, that sort of thing. But she was on a leader there. She didn't hesitate. She built the momentum throughout the race, made the other weir runners chase her, and she got the cash. No weight, got the cash. I thought she was a really good bet. That horse was a really good bet coming off the big win at St Arnaud and in fast time.
Just on that, I was doing the post race at Mortlake early in the week.
Yeah.
I might have been, anyway. And got the race. Something's went good there. I think first up for Jane Baker.
Yeah.
Danza Kadura, ex-Simons and Laxon horse. Anyway, it's gone to run time and everything. And there's what's this horse that's run second? There's margin, and chattiness. Third up, and it's led, and it seems to have gone good clip. Anyway, go to the stewards report, and it said Elle Doot was queried about her ride on chattiness in that she didn't sit up outside the leader, that she let it roll to the front and didn't really give it a breather, and she's referred to the
not to the riding pattern.
Yeah. So she's jumped and got outside Kay Walters on a 40-1 chance, who's a 5% rider. She had no weight, she had the claim, she was third up. So hers was just a little bit keen, so she just let it roll to the front and just let the horse happy roll around the nice tight turning track with the claim, gave a kick. This thing's gone really good to beat it, margin to third, it's run absolutely great.
It's peak performance.
Peak performance, and because of she's shown, I sent a letter to the stewards, and I said I would be very disappointed if she should be commended for a ride like that. You sitting outside the leader on a strong one pacer, being dictated to by a 5% jockey on a $41 hack, rather than letting the horse travel nicely, find the rail, third start in a race, no weight. She absolutely did the right thing, which has made that something's had to fly to beat it. And I'll just make sure I sent that to stewards. I don't want this thing being referred to the riders panel as a negative.
Absolutely.
Which is what you're saying about Jessica, riding and building and let them go with the claim. And
let's face it, DK, if that thing that Kate Walters was riding, if it was a 40-1 chance at Mortlake, and that meeting was, say, 2 days early where it was the main meeting of the day, it's not a 40s chance. It's a 140s chance on the fair. It's got absolutely none. Because they'll just take the sword to it.
Yeah. So then it's just no good sitting up. If your horse is a bit keen and then the anchor drop happens and then you got to pick up. She just let it go, and she had the claim. She had 52 kilos or something. Third up, she was ready to go run fast.
Especially on those, limited horses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to
It was
ride them.
I thought it was a fantastic. I was on that horse, so it was exactly how I wanted it ridden.
Yeah.
Don't sit up on the side Kate Waters and let her dictate tempo to
The
you.
sitting up and hoping to sprint on horses that don't really have a
That's
sprint
right.
Don't have a sprint.
it's chronic in Victoria.
Yeah, it's chronic. That's what I said. I said at the bottom of my ammo, I said these anchor drops and these all-important cover, there's no intent, is a blight on Victorian racing. It really is.
Yeah.
And if she's going to be, steered that way by the apprentices panel, so you've got to sit up and give this thing a breather, no matter, and they weren't going that quick. If they'd gone berserk and they were dueling, that's when they call them in. Two kids go to 8 in front.
Yeah.
They both take each other on because they've both been told to lead.
Fair enough. And then they drop out.
Yeah, they run out. They're out quickest of the day.
Or if they can't hold it.
Yeah.
Like, it gets to the lead and they're fired it up to the point where they can't hold it and it's 15 minutes in front and it's burnt by the
probably
two.
the B stewards, was more like on, there's 4 or 5 meetings on it. Still, I just wanted it made known that needs to be commended.
Yeah, well done, DK.
And the thing with that is, the other thing you mentioned in there, DK, is especially in the west of the state, you've either got two types of tracks. They're either tight turning leaders tracks, or they're like a Hamilton or a Warrnambool, or they're the big open tracks with the long straights. There's not really, apart from maybe Stall, I'm saying, might be in between. The rest of them, like Horsham, Matoa, Warrnambool, they're all
Coleraine, Cassidy, they're all tight.
Ararat, like they're all tight turning.
Yeah, and you say, what would Ingrid Leach have done?
Yeah,
she set up on it? No,
of course not.
And she just knocks up winning races out wide, Linda, doesn't she?
Yeah,
because she just rides horses naturally.
And
lets them test the other runners.
gives them every possible chance.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll go back to another friend of the show who was only a couple of weeks ago, the Gunner in the Oaks. He did the same thing. Him and Snowy came up with a plan where they were going to go hard and say, right, we've got the platform, the Lambourne Pearl, best platform for a 2400 metre run's a 2400 metre run. They just said, right, you're going to have to come and chase us down. We've got no sprint, so we're just going to grind you out and see what happens. And the other thing that I'm not really happy about, like, let's face it, between Brent and Snowy, they could afford the $1,000 fine. But for Racing.com, and therefore, that's all part of the industry, to use that GIF 50,000 times with him taking the bow as he crossed the line.
That's a separate. The stewards had to fine him, otherwise they had to do it. But
outstanding plan, by the way, boys. Outstanding plan.
Yeah, well done, Snowy.
Absolutely. Just on that, that's one of the biggest things I learned off you, Potts. I know there was a platform for that race, but a platform for any race. I've got this thing at home now. The first thing I said is what I've learned off you, which I didn't really consider before.
Yeah.
Your platform. Even from the thousands to the 1,000 for 1,000, 1,200.
Yeah.
1,400, 1,600, 600 to 2,000. Having the 2,000 run at 2,000.
Yeah.
Big advantage. It's just that when you look at the race, which horse is sitting on the best platform here, rather than the black bookers and the bloody favourites who run second their last 3 starts and everything. Which horse is setting off the best platform? And I really picked that up off you. The stuff I've learned off you in the last.
And the other thing,
it's the conversation between talent versus preparation. And I've got to be honest, 80% of the time, preparation wins. Right, so talent will get you so far, but preparation wins in the end. So I'll give a perfect example. So there was a lot of discussion over the carnival about the Sydney form knocking off the Melbourne horses, and a lot of that was to do with these anchor dropping races, particularly wind affected races, where the horses didn't have a platform. They went into races that they weren't prepared for. Horses were coming down from Sydney from faster races, like Sprite, for example.
Oh, the Epsom,
all that. So the one race where that didn't really happen, where the counter argument or the counter point happened, was Damien Oliver rode Flying Artie first up like his life depended on it.
Yeah.
Like he had to win that race. They went flat out throughout and he got the job done.
Yeah.
That race gave Flying Artie a tremendous platform against some more talented horses. They were coming down off like Freshens Up and barrier trials and 1,000 metre races, 1,100 metre race in Star Turn's case. Stream Choice was 1,000. The Stern had been freshened up with a barrier trial. And Flying Artie just had a better platform form than. And that was, like people might say, why didn't you market shorter? Well, sometimes you don't realise these things completely till after the race. But I still marked the horse 10 to 1, and I did have a late bet on it when it got out to $13. But it's a great example of that. That race was not decided by talent, it was decided by the best prepared horse.
And the other thing with that platform too, DK, it must make it easier as a form assessor for you to then step that horse off, knowing that they've got that platform. Like it must take a heap of the guesswork out for both of you guys. Like when you look at it, you go, okay, it's got the platform. I've only got to get it from here to here to get it to win the race, as opposed from here to here.
The biggest thing for me is because I'm dealing in lightly raced horses who are first, early first 5 and 6 starts of their career. So there's rapid improvement.
Yeah.
And there's different runs. They sort of do what they do on their first start, and it's very hard to step at your second start.
Yeah.
But you can do something. Then third up again if you get to the right platform and all that. So being able to say, okay, you're third up today. You've had 2 good runs.
Yeah.
Today you can improve this much.
Yeah.
Whereas you've run very fast at your first start. You can repeat that, but I'm not going to add on too much unless you've got maybe a jockey change or something like it. So getting all that inside your head, is paramount.
Yeah, finding horses that hit the line well, that are primed, and they've had the fitness base at the right distance range.
Just ticking all the boxes there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Hitting the line, the fitness.
Yeah. My favourite thing is up 100 metres. 100 metres is ideal if you're going from like a similar tempo race.
Yes.
If you're coming back in distance, you're better off. Like if you're coming from 1600 to a 1400 metre race, it's best if you've run a fast 1600 metre race. Even if you've dropped out late, that's okay. That works. If you're coming back from a slow 1600 metre race to a 1400 metre race that's going to be solidly run, that's a real problem. So they're the sort of things that
Yeah, the puzzle.
Yeah,
work out every race.
And one of the traps I sometimes fall into is overcomplicating and looking too much into those things, because you've got to have a good understanding of what those horses are capable of in the first place, and then those preparation issues just add the final piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
They're not the whole puzzle; they're the final piece, aren't they?
Boys, I've got a question to follow up with what also we've got for the weekend. So it's been to go today. Lots you've got to set out for today. This should be up this afternoon. So we've got that, and then tomorrow we've got Echuca and Pakenham, and then Moe and Moonee Valley on Friday, and we've got Sandown for their big meet of the year, as well as Dunkeld and the Yay picnics, and then Sunday is Donald Cup Day. But boys, the question I had to follow up with was that these night meetings. Now we've got 2 and 3. Well, this week we've got. Next week there's 3 night meetings, because we've got next weekend is Ballarat Cup Day, so they run Pakenham Thursday, Moonee Valley Friday night, Ballarat Cup Day, and then they run the Tricodes meeting at Cranbourne on the Saturday night. How are you guys dealing with these meetings? Are you looking at them and are you just going, right, I'm just brushing them, I'll just review them later on?
I'll go. Well, we've spoken about this from a freshening and workload perspective, but I'm also got family.
Yeah.
Got 2 young kids that I've got to get into bed and things like that. So I brush them completely.
Yeah.
The post race is important to me. Pakenham's a great track to find winners out of, good testing track and everything. But as far as doing the old, because I've already got Echuca tomorrow. Yeah. But all my focus will be on Echuca. I know I'll see what horses are running there and just have a good look through Pakenham. Yeah. So I can get a handle for the post race. Yeah. How strong the races are going to be and things, how fast those horses can run. But as far as the work, I've been and Moonee Valley, I only do the maiden anyway. So Moonee Valley's they normally race 1 as a maiden now. Yeah. I'll do 1 race. But I'll do 3 or 4 hours on Echuca,
Yeah. A little bit of golf.
That's the beauty of having two meetings in the day. Yeah. If it was only 1 meeting, I'd be in trouble. Yeah. If it was only the night meeting.
A little bit of gold from DK in there for punters that were paying close attention. Likes the post race, the horses coming out of Pakenham. I can tell you the big teams love the horses coming off strongly run Pakenham races. They can really use that fitness at their next start. So that's one for the keen punters out there to follow. Yeah. The night meetings, jumping from a form point of view, I might look at 1 or 2 races that I can pick out and find an edge for our tech service, but that's it. There's no way in the world I'll be doing. We discussed on a previous show, spreading yourself too thin, and I did it last year. I've got into a really good rhythm of doing the 2 full sets a week, and the rest of the time just picking the races out that suit me. In
I reckon that rhythm's important. I've had a lot. So I had a grub. We had a grubby one there, April, May, and then I had the baby due. The best thing I did was take 2 weeks off. Yeah. And I recalibrated, changed my routine, and changed my work. Just try and get into the rhythm. And then I got the real sense, Jesus, and things did turn around, but I felt I had a much better rhythm. Yeah. I'd do the form in the morning, then I'd do some video comments, then I'd bed, then I'd go in the afternoon do some exercise. And, I had it all tits up before, and I was rushed, and I was go to the gym in the mornings. I was tired by the time the races were on, and it was just things didn't work. So I reckon that rhythm's really important, and
absolutely,
and the right workload.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point for the punters that are taking it seriously, that are trying to make a go of it. You've got to find a routine that doesn't make you feel rushed, and that you do find a rhythm.
And you're fresh
You
when
get a bit of
you're
flow.
betting.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be, because you miss things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're fresher, like I was at race one at Ararat the other day. I did it, and I wanted to back the first light racing horse Linguist, and because it was first up, but I marked last skipper Tory favourite, and so did the corporates. You know, they put up 320 or 350. Okay, beautiful. I marked it 380 or $4. So anyway, then I sort of cost them. Normally I'm sort of a bit in arrogant. So as I was sitting there concentrating, I've taken $6.50 and $7 Linguist. All of a sudden on the fair, there's $8 the skipper Toro. And I said, oh, okay, you're probably not going forward, but still, you know, we're second up. You're an improving horse out of a fast race. So you know, I was conscious of it. So I did. It was a winner. I've got to make sure I played on the race. But normally, 6 months ago, I would have gone drunk on that.
Yeah.
I would have looked up. Oh shit, it's won, is it? I thought $9. I'll turn it up. Mark it 3 to 1. You know.
Because I think they put it up 2 to 1 or something else, didn't they? Like,
yeah. And then that's where the thing where you know the horses and you say, okay, well, and it didn't really get the intent right, but because of wide, it had a clear running, which helped win and got there on the line. So there's a little bit of reason why it's easy in the market. You said probably, but you know the odds offset it. You know. But yeah, I would have gone drunk on that 6 months ago and just been, looked up at hit the line and what? Turn it up, you know. Anyway.
I know from an industry participant point of view, like I find it brutal. This time of year is really hard.
Yeah.
Like I'm coming off the back of the most exhausting week of the year, and well, they've done it to us twice. Like we've got the Manicato meeting the night before, which is completely unnecessary, and then we have the Moonee Valley meeting the night before Derby Day, where you could have fired a 22 through the betting ring and not hit anyone. I mean, I know a few years ago that meeting used to be a reasonable meeting, but in all fairness,
I'll tell you what the problem is though, Joppy. Okay, so I completely understand where you're coming from, and I've just said that I agree. I didn't get involved in that Friday night meeting, but I had a stack of emails from people that get my stuff, asking me if I was doing a set for Friday night.
Yeah.
They were fired up. Derby Day was next day. They wanted to bet. They wanted to bet that Friday night. So I would think, I don't know, I haven't checked, but I would think that the turnover on those meetings is quite strong compared to a normal day.
True.
Midweek meeting, you know.
All I'm asking for is them just start them a couple of hours earlier.
Yeah, no,
and finish them a couple of hours earlier.
I totally agree. I think, Juppy, that they really should take into account the pressure they're putting on people that are like you that have got a job to do, and all the stable hands, the jockeys. There's a whole range of people that are being put under a lot of pressure, and it's going to go bad one day.
Well, the thing that I found that worked was, remember last summer we had the twilight meetings at Pakenham before they flicked the lights on, and they started about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They wrapped up. The last race was either 7 or 7:30. To me, guys, that seems the perfect formula. You've still got the continuity with you getting your day punters. You're betting right through the twilight period, which is where everyone keeps telling me the growth, and you're betting into that night period. You're not running the last at 9:30 or 10 o'clock. Like everyone can still get home at a reasonable hour, but everyone's got lights now, they have to turn them on, so...
I'll just give you something to finish on, Juppy. A quick list can turn around.
Yeah.
This is my second half. I was going alright, you know, and then sort of hit the wall probably halfway through October. So how many 200 to 1 chances win over 12 months? Not many, right? Maybe, maybe 1 or 2. A couple.
Handful, yeah.
So, I've bet Florida Keys, found a thing, Florida Keys at Mornington, $13 or something. McLeod, Pat Carey home track, went forward, so 3 wide the trip. Through on the inside, Luke Nolan on a thing called Soda Stint.
Yep.
1 run ran last on the poly, 200 to 1. Okay, beauty. Next week, Bendigo. I'm back in the race. I'm back in Captive Hero, which is favourite today, and Parthesia. And back then, they're going along together, down the outside, Dawny Air. 2 starts in the poly, last both starts, 200 to 1.
Home you
Twice
go.
in a week. 10 days later, the Caulfield Cup Day, Wodonga. I'm doing it. That Harrison, I backed it last bet. Yeah, he looks first up, he can win this race. Yeah, Harrison, what's this thing up to the inside? Earthling, what? 200 to 1. 3 beat me in 20 days, 18 days. 3 200 to 1 chances. I was on second and third in a few instances for good money. That's how quickly I was nearly going. I said, how's this happened? I got 1. The second one, so that's a bit of an honour. The third one said, please. That's when you said you think you're going all right.
Yeah.
The gambling god said, here's another knife in the heart for you.
That's just another visit from our old friend Variance. Because the thing is, we know that we're going to win, but you just can never tell when. And you know that over time, if you keep doing the same thing, you'll eventually grind out the profit. But sometimes that just a cluster luck thing like that happens where 3 200 to 1 shots beat you in the space of a fortnight.
Yeah, 3 1 ones that I was on, they were all in my race. I went second every time. Anyway, there you go.
It can be very cruel. Now we're going to come back and do a part 3. Jump out. We've got a couple of stories for the punters.
All right, we'll do a part 3 with some stories with pots.